So, Kane Corns is talking a little bit of smack about the Pies and their make or break year. And I don't really want to react to every single thing a commentator says, but I felt the need to sort of give you my 2 cents because he makes some good points, makes some crappy points. Let's get into it. Before we get into the main part of the video, thank you all so much for the love on all of the training reports coming out, or training diaries coming out so far. The love on Dr. Ethan Alul, the osteo that we've got on, that's going to become a regular segment, which is going to be, well, I hope it doesn't become a regular segment because I don't want a lot of injuries. But he'll be on to chat about all injuries and AFL world injuries as well when we get there. Also, I'm in a rental, right? And these walls are like, they're not, I'm not a builder. They're not concrete, but they're like, actually, they kind of feel like concrete, right? They're reinforced. They're not plaster, is what I'm trying to say. Does anyone know the best way to hang up all of these? Because command hooks aren't going to do it because they're pretty heavy. And obviously they're fucking like that. This kind right here, that's fucking heavy. I don't know how to hang them up without, drilling through that and putting like wall anchors or concrete wall anchors into there, which would be ideal, but with a rental. Anyway, if anyone knows or has any tips for me, let me know because that one alone, the Guernsey with all the signatures from the Premiership, I reckon that's about 10 kilos. It's probably more than 10 kilos. But let me know. Anyway, let's talk about Kane Corns. Now, on his program on SEN, Kane Corns had a lot to say about Collingwood, about their make or break year, how we've thrown all of our, eggs into one basket with our recruiting and stuff like that. And I want to sort of dissect it a little bit and give you my thoughts. And I'm not going to, I'll play the bits and pieces. Actually, I'll play the full clip and then we can just go from there.
25. Collingwood's best 22 for 2025. They've only got 3 draft picks. 3 players that they have drafted since 2014. So we're going
in their
back
best 22.
In their best 22. So, and 2 of them are father-sons. So Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, and Beau McQuarrie is the only player in Collingwood's best 22 that they have drafted at the national draft. Not my check's a rookie and all of that. At the national draft since 2014. In their best lineup. That's
okay. I was going to say since 2014. Okay,
yeah,
I was wondering what the cutoff was because Pendles is there and there's a few.
Yeah, since 2014. So that you're right. There's a like obviously Sidebottom was drafted in that, and how long you want Darcy Moore and De Goey were drafted, but a long time ago. So since 2014, 3 players in Collingwood's best 22 for 2025, and 2 of those were father-sons, handed to them on a platter. Beau McQuarrie is the only player that they've drafted back in 2020, I think it was, for McQuarrie at pick number 44. That's just extraordinary. So it had me thinking about, and
so look, what was okay? So Isaac Quainer was Next Gen Academy.
Well,
so
he's an academy.
We're not
so
counting
got an academy and 2 father-sons, and McQuarrie is the only player that they've essentially drafted in the national draft.
Right.
But it had me thinking, and we discussed it a bit. Just make or break years in 2025, like. Would you say this is the biggest make or break year for a club ever? Like if this goes wrong, and I don't think it will go wrong, mind you, because I love Dan Houston. I think he was the best player on the trade table that they got him. So yeah, I think Schultz will be better and all of that. I understand. I'm assuming De Goey will just have to be better after the disastrous year that he had last year. Moore's going to have a better season than what he did last year. So I'm not suggesting it's going to go wrong, but if it does, the ramifications for this are going to be significant because they've just neglected the draft for so long. And we've seen that at clubs when this happens. We've seen it at West Coast. When you go to Tim Kelly and you trade your picks and you neglect the draft, if it doesn't go well, it's disastrous. So make or break years. So Collingwood for me, number 1, make or break year.
So the first thing that Corns says is we've got 3 draftees since 2014 in our best 22, and 2 of those are father-sons. Now, obviously, Nick Dacos, incredible, pick 4, father-son, we get it. With Josh Dacos, though, so I've got it all written down here. So Josh Dacos was in 2016, yes, he was a father-son selection, but he was selected at pick 57. Not a lot of people realise that, outside of Collingwood supporters. And Josh Dacos, no one bid on him, right, pretty much. And I reckon he was so close to getting dropped. There was a period, I think it might have been 2019, I want to say. Yeah, because it was when I started the channel, because I said 2019 was the make or break for Josh Dacos. So there was a period where he could have been dropped, like Callum Brown, like Tyler Brown, like these guys that didn't make it. So he wasn't a top 10 pick by any stretch of the imagination. He's just come really good. He worked his ass off to get to where he is today. Now, if you say since 2014, he leaves out that Jordan Goy was pick 5, Darcy Moore was pick 9, a father son, and Braden Maynard was pick 30. Now, since 2014 could mean 2015 onwards, but since 2014, I want to include those 3 players as well. And we've gone through our draft tier list as well. We did that a couple of months ago, but I'll just give you a quick rundown. 2015, an absolute write-off. I understand that. 2016 was a write-off except for Josh Dacos. 2017, we picked up Stevenson with pick 6, Murphy with pick 39. 2018 was a write-off except for IQ with pick 13. He was a next-gen academy player. 2019, write-off. Now, 2020 could have been a super draft for us. We picked up Henry, McRae, Reef, Poulter, McMahon, Bowe, and Guinea. We know what happened to Henry. McRae's still in the team. He's still fighting for his spot. Reef is in the team, still fighting for his spot, but I reckon he's got a spot down back, so he could be best 23 by the end of the year. Poulter went to the Doggies. McMahon, I think we dropped him a little bit too early. He's dominated Carlton's VFL. He's going on and training with Carlton. He's smashing it as a forward, which is really nice to see. And we know that we need forwards. Bro McCreary was just a steal I think he went in the 40s. And then Ginnivan, we know what happened to Ginnivan, right? But a steal, nonetheless, a premiership player. 2021, we picked up Nick Dacos. Harvey Harrison would pick 52. If Harrison didn't do his ACL, I think he'd pretty much be in the best 22 as that small forward. 2022 draft, Ed Allen with pick 19. I think that by the end of the year, Ed Allen becomes best 23. In that same draft was Jacob Ryan and Joe Richards. Joe Richards, again, could have been a top player, would go support Adelaide for more opportunity. And then, I'm not including 23 and 24 because they're just still young kids. But Demeter, TJ, they could be really anything. I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Demeter at the moment, and I've said that in my diaries. I think there's a spot. I think you heard it here first. If Josh Dacos is going to be off the halfback, which pretty much that's where he's playing at the moment, so that's where he's training. There's a spot on the wing going to open up. I think that's Demeter's spot. I think that might be Demeter's spot. But anyway, so what I wanted to sort of point out there is, yes, we don't have a lot of draft picks from the national draft in our best 22, right? Some of these players just didn't work out. There's a couple of years where it didn't work out, and that's what happens with the draft. It's such a gamble. Like, okay, you have your top 20 players. Sometimes they make it out, but sometimes they don't. Like, for example, the first one off the top of my head is Paddy Dow, and there's so many more players, right? Paddy Dow was just the first guy that came to the top of my head. 2017, pick six, Stevenson. Who knows what Stevenson could have been if Craig McRae was his coach, right? Murphy was just unfortunate because of his concussions. Then you look at 2020, what would happen if Ollie Henry didn't want to go back to Geelong, and we could have just sort of kept him, or Poulter on the wing, or McMahon. So there are these players where, yes, we don't, and I agree with Kane, we don't have, it's just factual that we don't have a lot of people from the national draft or players from the national draft in our best 22. But I think that doesn't define our team and anybody's team, because a team isn't just made up of players from the draft. It's made up of free agents. It's made up of traded players. It's made up of delisted players. Like, going into the 2023 season, we picked up Lipper the year before, McStay, Mitchell, Hill, and Frampton. And they're all, except for McStay, sorry, buddy, they're all premiership players. And they weren't, well, obviously they were from the draft in their season, but they were from trades and free agents and stuff like that. So a good team has a mixture of all of these things. It's not just one genre of player. Now, if I'm to play devil's advocate as to what Kane Cornes said, like, yes, we have put all our eggs into a basket, but how many times do I have to say it and do Collingwood supporters have to say it until we're red in the face, right? Is that when the premiership window is open, you go for that premiership. You go for that premiership. We won the flag 2 years ago. It's not like we won it 10 years ago and we're trying something now. Like, I know we gave away our first round pick next year to pick up Dan Houston. That was going to get absorbed by old mate McGuan anyway. We gave up pick 2 in 2021, to sign for Nick Dacos, right? So Nick Dacos came pick 4. We gave up pick 2. That would have been absorbed by Nick Dacos anyway. Don't sit here as an opposition supporter and tell me that North Melbourne wouldn't have bid on Nick Dacos if we had pick 2. No hope in fucking hell. Of course they would have. Of course they would have made us pay through our teeth, right? People say, "Oh, you could have got pick 2 and you could have got Nick Dacos." No, I don't think that's true at all. There's no way that the AFL world were going to let us take who were they saying that we could have gotten? Callahan? Was it Finn Callahan? I think. And Nick Dacos, 2 picks in the top 5. No, a snowflake's chance in hell that would have happened. Pick 2 would have been absorbed. So the Pies did what they could to get that. The Schultz one. Okay, we gave around a first-round draft pick after our premiership year. Did anyone think we were finishing 9th? No fucking way. All the media pundits had us going back-to-back, or to a grand final, which would have made pick 1, our first-round draft pick, pick 18 or pick 17 or whatever the fuck it was, right? It would have been in the pick 20s with all the academies and stuff. Of course not. We weren't supposed to be out of the top 8, right? Sometimes things don't work out, and yes, when you look at it on paper, Schultz for whatever it was, pick 9. Oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. No fucking shit, Sherlock, right? But when you actually look deeper into it, we weren't supposed to finish 9th. We were supposed to finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, and that pick was supposed to be in the late teens. So these picks and these players' ebbs and flows, I can definitely see where Kane's coming from, and I can definitely see where the opposition supporters are coming from. But it's so frustrating, and I don't know, maybe it is a Collingwood bias, and maybe I've got blinders on. But let me know down in the comments, am I losing my mind, or do you agree with me? The second big thing that I wanted to talk about is Kane Cornes saying that this is the biggest make or break year for a club ever if it goes wrong. He goes on to say that he doesn't think it'll go wrong because of Houston and Schultz and Perryman and stuff like that. But he said this is the biggest make or break for a club ever in the history. Are you kidding? Like, are you listening? Like, oh my God, it's such a frustrating thing to hear. Ever. I've got a list of 6 clubs right now that are experiencing a worse make or break year. Essendon haven't won a final since 2004, and they are teetering on are they going to make finals? Are they going to be shit? Like, what's going on with Essendon? They've brought in 1,000 new coaches and these players, and they're going to make finals. They're not going to make finals, right? Adelaide haven't played a final since they lost the grand final in 2017. This could be Matthew Nix's last year as coach. How is this not a make or break year? A biggest make or break year for Adelaide. Carlton, 30 years without a flag, and they're arguably in the best spot they've been in the last few years for a tilt at a flag, right? They finished 8th just on percentage last year. They missed out on finals a couple of years ago when we knocked them out. They had a really good run in 2003, and they just go down to Brisbane after being up by 5 goals. So how is this not a make or break year for Carlton when they gave up the prospect of getting Dan Houston, who wanted to come to their club for a pick 3? How is it not a make or break year for them? Melbourne, they've been out in straight sets for the last 2 of 3 years. Haven't won a final in Melbourne since 2018. I get it. They did win a flag in 2021. That could have been a dynasty team, right? Because Melbourne are incredible. They've still got an incredible team. How is it not a make or break year for Simon Goodwin? Their players wanted his head. They've done internal reviews of the club like 2 times in the last couple of years. Western Bulldogs haven't done much since their flag in 2016. Yes, they got to the grand final in 2021. They were up. They lose by 70 points. They didn't make they made finals last year, but they haven't really done much. How is this not a make or break year? The biggest one in their history for Luke Beveridge. And the last one, And I know why he didn't say it. Poor Adelaide, over-promising, under-delivering every single fucking year. How is it not a make-or-break season for them? Or Kane Cornes doesn't want to say it. I know pie sell papers, right? I know, and again, devil's advocate, it's not, I don't think it's a make or break year for the Pies. If we don't win the flag, yes, we've done a lot that we could have, but why not give yourself the best opportunity for a flag for a round one draft pick next season or Dan Houston? Give me Dan Houston, of course. Of course, I'm going to want Dan Houston, right? Who's going to play for another 8 years. Your first round draft pick could be a pick 7 that, touch wood, never happens to any young kid ever, touching wood, that does his ACL and then or gets a concussion and can't play, he's medically retired. You've just lost a pick 7. You know what I mean? So with the draft, again, it ebbs and flows. It's a gamble. The draft is always a gamble. Even for pick 1s, Dan Swan was pick 52. James Hurd was in the 50s or something. And it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, right? But I can name every other club that could be, the Giants could be the biggest make or break year. To say that Collingwood, this is the biggest make or break year for any team ever is absolutely absurd. And I need to come on camera because remember, Swoop was started because of therapy. For me, I need to come on camera and get this out. I just think it's absurd. Let me know your thoughts down below. Am I just losing my mind because I'm living by myself and I've got no one to talk to, just these 4 white walls? Let me know your thoughts down below. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.